All right, welcome everybody to this episode of Think Business Live. We're doing Young Entrepreneurs Week, and I've known these kids since they were pretty much born / maybe 1 or 2 years old. So this is really fun to have you guys on the show. And Ethan Findling, Eli Steinbock, Blake Phillips. I'm loving this week talking to all these young entrepreneurs because everybody that I'm talking to, their summer was completely jolted because of COVID. And so many of them adapted, which is really what this next decade is really about, adaptability. And so you guys came up and now you're creating a day camp called Huntington Woods Backyard Boys, great name. Let's kind of like rewind a little bit and talk about kind of where the idea kind of spurred from. Because I really think that, there's a lot, people have a lot of ideas, but executing it and building upon it is another thing. So it starts with the idea. So let's start there. So where did the idea come from?
Yeah.
So it was actually from our friend Gabe Singer. He had the idea like probably a while back, even like right when COVID spiked, he knew he's like all these Pistons Academy, all these summer camps are going to be gone. Like we should do something about it. And he did it in Bloomfield. And we kind of thought it'd be a good idea to do it in Huntington Woods too, because we have a good yard to do it. We have a good reputation in Huntington Woods. We have a good community in Huntington Woods. So we thought we could kind of take their idea and plant it into Huntington Woods and be successful with it as well.
All right. So Gabe Singer is the one that had the idea. You guys then say, okay, this will be a good idea. So then how did it kind of plant the seed? What happened next?
So
and the reason I ask is because a lot of people watching this, regardless of your age, are all 17. And right? You're all 17. And so a lot of people, regardless of how old people are, they're always looking to kind of do something, start something, and execute on it. So after the idea, how did you continue to execute?
So after we had the idea, we made a website, which is the one on Wixsite, with all the information. And then I put something out on Nextdoor. I'm not even joking, probably at midnight, just because I was really bored. I woke up in the morning to probably over $3,000 in my Venmo just from seeing. I woke up at 1 p.m. the next morning. I've guessed all the.
Well, that's the afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah, all the parents saw it in the morning, and they all signed up after seeing our Nextdoor post and our website. And so I just woke up that morning, and we had so many people signed up. And then Eli's stepmom also got us a lot more people to sign up. So yeah, that's kind of how we executed the idea and got people to sign up.
I love it. I love the go get 'em attitude when it comes to that. But I want to just back up a little bit more to just kind of it's second nature for you guys to say, hey, I did a website, I put it up, and I launched it. But Eli or Blake, what went into deciding kind of what was going to even go on the website, how the camp was going to be organized? How did you guys plan that?
So honestly, it was almost like we had the idea and we were we didn't have much of the logistics because we hadn't sat down with my mom to talk about the dates. So it's honestly we threw it up on the website and then we kind of had to backtrack and we're oh wait, we don't have the details necessary. So we put them on the website, after that. And it was after we got everything on the website, we understood that parents are going to be more questionable about what camp you're going to this summer because obviously everything with COVID-19. So we had to make sure we were fully we could fully handle that situation, how we're going to handle COVID-19 and put that on the website and address that as well as just any safety concerns because that was the big hump or the problem that we didn't originally have on the website.
How are you doing safety concerns? Eli, what are you guys, when it comes to safety, how are you guys addressing, how are you guys dealing with that?
We're just trying to do certain activities that you can still be active, but we're gonna have the least amount of contact as possible and try and keep distance with stuff like relay races and like just other stuff like that. And because like different parents, they have different like levels of how comfortable they are with like everything that's going on. So we just have to adjust.
Right. I would imagine there's going to be a lot of Purell at the Backyard Boys camp. So let me ask you this. Thanks for that. And you know, when you're talking about Eli, you know, having to talk to parents and make parents happy about what's going on for their children, you know, that's a big responsibility for anybody, let alone, you know, newer, younger entrepreneurs. So how do you find yourselves, Blake, maybe we'll start with you. How do you find yourself communicating with the parents, which you know is not always easy?
Yeah. It's definitely like being around and responding, you know, in a time frame, you know, like it's, you know, we're kind of lucky because we grow up in a time where we have phones and we use them, but like, you know, in the 80s and, you know, 90s and the early 2000s, it wasn't like that where you can necessarily, you know, have contact with a parent just, you know, like just as easy as, you know, texting them, you know what I mean? So, really we have our numbers, on the website, and
Right. You're breaking up a little.
Trying to, you know,
yeah,
definitely just trying to get people reliable.
Yeah. Like you're breaking up a little bit. So Ethan, how are you guys finding it? You know, so you wake up with $3,000 in your account, then you got to communicate with all the parents. You know, what kind of stuff have you learned about talking to just, you know, the parents of kids?
So we all equally talk to parents. Maybe Blake did a little more, but I mean, me and Eli, we've worked like jobs where we have to talk to parents and like have customer service, like basic fundamentals. So we kind of learned a thing or two of that from that, but we just, I don't know, respond to emails. It's all about responding to them in a timely fashion and like with a positive mindset and like attitude and like tone in your text.
Yeah.
And I feel like they'll like it if you're clear on what you want to say, you're nice, and most importantly, you respond like speedily and in a timely fashion.
Well, that's you're talking about really important things. You know, I mean, when it comes to no matter how old you are, effective communication is one of the most important, you know, skill sets when it comes to business, as is empathy and gratitude and accountability. So you guys are taking on a big responsibility of watching people's kids. There's a lot of accountability on that. Trust that parents are putting into your hands. And so with that, you know, what does a day in the life of Huntington Woods Backyard Boys look like for those that are coming?
Eli, you want to go?
Yeah. So they're gonna.
We're gonna. Just do this. Why don't you define real quickly? Huntington Woods Backyard Boys is a day camp for who?
For kids,
8 to 12.
8 to 12, mostly targeted to boys, just because it's primarily like sports and active based. So
still accept girls though. We have
we're open to anyone who would want to come, but we're just trying to have fun outside and just like playing sports.
So what's the day? Like it starts at what time and how are you organizing the day?
It's 10 to 2, and we're just gonna, when they come, we're gonna stretch and warm up, and then we're just gonna start like to our activities after that, and then around like 12 we're gonna do lunchtime, and one day we're gonna buy pizza for everyone, but you're supposed to bring your own lunch, and then we're providing like drinks for everyone also, and then after that we're gonna get right back into it.
Right.
Something to add to that is also at the beginning of each day, we're going to do like a small introduction and like kind of like a talk session, not like long, just very briefly. And we're going to try and teach them like a thing or two just about like morals of being like a kid and like growing up.
Yeah.
Just because since we're a lot older than them, I feel like we could teach them some good morals and just
before each day, we also like we received like from I think it was the city of Berkeley, but I'm not sure. They gave us a thermometer. It's like one of those cool new thermometers where you just have to put it up to your forehead.
Yeah.
And so we're doing that before each day, before we get into the activities. And so that's another precaution that we haven't mentioned. But we're definitely what Ethan said in the beginning. What we learned from camp. We have Degel in the morning, which is you wake up and like as soon as you wake up, you have like they have the good morning song and they have a bunch of activities that get you excited for the day and maybe you learn a thing or two.
Yeah.
And so that's definitely what we want to institute at our camp and maybe also at the end of camp too, just to wrap everything up and to get everybody going with their days.
Yeah, I love what you guys are talking about right now because you're talking about the power of mentorship, and it really is. It is so important for all age brackets. My parents always raised me that you can learn something from people older than you and younger than you. Never discount anybody. And so these kids are really looking up to you probably more than you even recognize. So how have you guys utilized mentorship to start this company or just in general in your lives to kind of help you with things?
Yeah, well, we've gone to camp. We've gone to camps for years, and like it seems like every year we build another connection with like a counselor or someone who definitely shows us. I know so many people in my life that have taken a mentorship role for me, and it's just like when you're a camper at camp, you always ask your counselor like, why are you being a counselor this summer? And they say that it's not for the money, it's for to give back because I've had those good experiences and I want to give people those good experiences. And so I guess that's something that we kind of put towards this camp, the idea that we're not doing it necessarily just for the money, but we're doing it so we can show kids how to have a good time in a summer where it's tougher to have a good time or it's not a conventional summer.
Yeah, that's great. I love what you boys are doing. Any thoughts, Ethan or Eli?
Yeah, like to add on to Blake, I've like for every counselor I've had for any like camp I've gone to, I've always looked up to them. Like even like Pistons Academy or like Alpha Wolf basketball, like I've always thought those guys are like so sweet. Like but like we're just like them now.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely agree with both. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, E.
Completely agree with both of them. Like growing up, I always went to Tamarack, always went to Pistons Academy, whatever camp, and these counselors like really had a big effect on my thoughts and like just everything. Like they were beautiful mentors, and also like we can learn a thing or two from these kids. Like know it or not, like you said, you could learn from any age. So we're going to try and give back and be good mentors to them, but we're also looking to learn a thing or two off them.
What is a good mentor? Talk about that for a second, because, you guys, I've known you for your whole life. And so, to me, it seems like, it's been a second since you guys were, babies, but you guys are grown up, you're young adults. What makes a great mentor? Like, because I think most people don't have mentors in their lives, and they need, I think, a minimum of 3. You guys have had the luxury of going to camp, and more importantly, having these mentors. And now you're gonna be mentors. So what makes a great mentor?
I feel like making a good mentor is someone that like is older than you, could be younger than you, but whatever they're doing, it's something good and it's something you want to do. And I feel like if there's someone that like a counselor or someone that's helping you with a camp or whatever, and if they're doing good things and positive things and things that I would want to do later in my life, that represents a good mentor to me.
That's great.
Yeah, mentors definitely like are people that teach, someone that you like when I think of the mentors in my life, they've all had like a common interest in me that like they could like kind of teach me about, or it's a lot of inspiring and a lot of teaching. Yeah.
Eli, how about you?
Yeah, I agree with what both of them said. Just like you just look up to them and you would want to like somewhat be like them.
And so what do you guys think you guys bring to the table? What's the one element of your unique ability that you're bringing to the table to be a role model to these kids?
I feel like it's like our jokes and like our goofiness, I guess. I feel like we're really like naturally funny kids and really happy kids. And I feel like we're going to 100% bring that to the table. And these kids are going to love like how active and how like funny we are.
Nice. Guys, let me ask you. Go ahead, Blake.
Yeah, it's just definitely in our own ways. We're definitely all very unique and energetic and funny. So I agree with Ethan.
Good. And well, you bring up a really important part. I mean, a lot of the people that I've been interviewing this week are talking about being in your passion and doing things that you're passionate about. And when you are, you're just happier and you can be yourself and be funny. And so that's great, right? That's about being in alignment and loving what you do. I love hearing that. Eli, how about you?
Yeah, I agree. I think we're just gonna like try and all be like make it as fun as possible, and like especially like because of the sports, we're all very active and we can like just have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. Let's talk about social media for a second. I think a lot of older generations, seasoned generations, if you will, have a hard time with social media, right? They deliberate, they think about things. They don't, it takes them forever to do a website, to do, just to get comfortable with social media. You're talking about at midnight, you posted, and then you got 3,000 in your Venmo. And I know a lot of people in the community it was this buzz talking about it. And so talk a little bit about how you've used social media a little bit more. I know you mentioned it earlier, a little bit more how to grow the business and how to continually grow and get the message out for the business.
So we try to use the social media platforms where our target market use like actively and on a daily basis. So that was like Nextdoor, Facebook. I posted a couple things on the Facebook groups my mom was in where I could see like potential clients. So usually just staying active on Nextdoor, because I know a lot of parents are looking for, things to do in the summer on Nextdoor and on Facebook. So I feel like just staying active on those two social media websites helps us with our marketing a lot, because a lot of our target market's there. So staying active on there, staying positive, responding to all the messages on there is a very big thing.
Yeah. How important is responding? I mean, follow up is, I find in business a lot of times follow up will destroy a business, destroy a reputation, destroy credibility, right? One drop of blood ruins a gallon of water. And so how important is, and I love that you guys are learning these lessons now. Not that you haven't learned them until now, but it's really driven home when you have your own company. And so how important is follow-up, and can you share a story maybe when when that showed itself, how important it was?
It's critical. Like it's the make or break. Like, it's almost like a client and clientele. It's a relationship, almost like, not like almost a boyfriend and girlfriend, but almost where if you don't respond well enough to the reply, I mean, it can hurt the relationship. So like, I guess like, I mean, I was with you, I think it was last Thursday, and remember I got a call in the middle of the day, and it was someone who had recently, wasn't going to, they were upset about, well, they talked to their pediatrician and were unsure about whether or not they wanted to, continue their sign up. But a good conversation and a good one-on-one connection can help a situation. Because the fact that I responded just in the middle of the day, and I could have had other things to do, but I responded. It means a lot to people, and especially with phone calls. I think phone calls, because when you get a text, you can check your phone and you could respond in 5 minutes, and it may seem like you just got the text message. When you get a phone call, you have a few seconds to decide yes or no. And if you decide to hit yes, it could add you a customer.
Right. Responsiveness is absolutely critical, especially in today's world. I mean, the average person has an attention span less than a goldfish, which is about 6 to 7 seconds. And so, people are expecting this kind of microwave, quick, response because they've got everybody's multitasking. So well said. Eli, any thoughts?
Yeah, like we've had some situations where we haven't really been responding quick enough, and it's kind of hurt us. But because like people, they're trying to get their kids out of the house and they're trying to like get something quickly. So if we don't respond in enough time, they're gonna be onto something else just like that.
Definitely.
Yeah. How does it feel? Well said, everybody. How does it feel to just have your own business, right? Let's just talk about that for a minute, because, you know, so many people, I know so many people of every age, right? Jacob and I golfed on Sunday with a guy who was 61 years old, him and his son, on Father's Day morning. He was 61, and at 60 years old, after being the president of all these companies and at 60 years old, he started his own business. And so there's so many people who feel stuck in their 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s working for, you know, somebody else. And then and they always want to start their own business. So as entrepreneurs, you know, what does it feel like, and what advice would you give somebody who's stuck and wants to start their own business?
I think it's all about like drive and confidence. Like my dad always says, you can't succeed like crazy in life without taking a big risk. And I feel like everyone that's working behind someone and like they're not loving it. I know a lot of people that have backed out of those jobs stayed confident in themselves, and it rewarded it like a ton in the future. I feel like it's all just patience, staying true to your morals and goals, and just keeping your drive, staying focused.
Yeah.
Never giving up is like the biggest thing. It's the worst thing you could do. The biggest thing, if you stay confident, like, then you could see your full potential. You know, it's gonna take a lot of time though, so it's a lot of patience. And I feel like having our own business just shows us how much work a business really is. So if we're thinking of starting a business and becoming an entrepreneur again in our future, we know kind of what it's like.
Correct. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of patience. It's a long game. It's about delayed gratification, not instant gratification. And, you know, today in your generation, I really believe your generation is the greatest generation. They say it's the greatest generation since the greatest generation, and I believe it. But your generation also is so used to instant gratification, right? You're hungry, you get Grubhub. You're this. I mean, everything happens so quickly. But in business, there's just continuums that take a long time. And so you have to be patient. But I agree with you, Ethan. You got to have drive. You got to have confidence. You got to take risks, and you got to execute every day, no matter how hard it is. Eli, how about you? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely agree with what Ethan was saying, and
advice that you would give somebody, who's stuck and wants to start a business.
I mean, I've never really had a boss like at a job that like I've loved. Like, why wouldn't you want to be your own boss? Do it.
Right. That's well said. Right. Right. Why wouldn't you be? So, you know, and, you know, that's really well said. Blake, how about you?
Yeah, it's a lot of freedom. Like starting your own business, you're in control of your own destiny. And, you know, some people like that, and, you know, it's not for everyone, but if it is for you, you're going to know that you're not like, you're going to have to work twice as hard, but, you know, you could see twice the outcome. Right. And, you know, that's just all, you are the master of your own fate. And so, you know, choose wisely.
Yeah. You know, some people may be watching this and saying, I appreciate that you're 17, but, you know, what you don't necessarily, you don't have this or this, but I would say to those people, you're in the way wrong mindset, because
that's ageism.
Because those people should be thinking, wow, these kids are really inspiring. They're speaking fundamentals that have taken me a lifetime to learn. And it is, you know, sometimes business is so easy, it's complicated. And sometimes people look at things too complicated, but I agree with you boys, right? If you want to be in control of your destiny, if you want to be your own boss, if you have the drive and confidence, you just got to plan, right? You got to map out, like I asked you guys in the beginning, how are you mapping out and living your business plan on a daily basis. So let me ask you this, fellas. Now that you have, you've started your business, you're doing all these great things. The next summer will probably be hopefully a summer that's back to normal, where maybe you're back at camp. What's the future of Huntington Woods Backyard Boys? Where's it going to grow to?
I think it's going to be like some type of not seasonal unemployment, but I feel like it's just like a Corona type thing, Maybe we can implement something if we're home in the summer about a day camp if this goes really well. But at this point right now, I feel like it's just like a Corona, like a kind of improvising thing based on our scenario right now.
Yeah.
But if Corona does spike again next year unexpectedly, then we're making a return.
You're making a return. But you know what I love about that, is, in life, you got to adapt, be nimble, and pivot. That's just part of life. And studies have shown that this is going to be a year of a decade of adaptability. And so I love the idea how present you are about it, and that you took a situation that wasn't ideal and you adapted and pivoted and started a business. Because I know you all were looking and/or have jobs or other jobs. So it's great to be your own boss. Eli, how about you? What's next in the Eli Steinbock entrepreneurial train?
I mean, I've still gotta figure it out, but I mean, I would think next year, if it was back to normal, I would be like a counselor at like Pistons Academy.
Yeah.
Maybe I could get our clientele to shift. I don't know.
All right. Well, hey, that sounds fun. Blake, how about you?
Hey, I'm thinking big. I don't know what the future may hold, but I'm ready for it, and I'm taking what I've learned from the Backyard Boys. I'm going to put it into every endeavor. So I'm excited for what the future holds, and definitely some entrepreneurship. We'll see.
Good. My last question for you, fellas. Right. So, I want to just touch on the mentor element that you talked earlier, right? Your mentors to people who are watching now or watching later or listening later when this is on iTunes and Spotify are going to be listening to this, and it's going to have an impact on people of all ages. So tapping into your mentor selves again, what is one piece of additional wisdom that you would say you've learned about yourself that will help somebody who's listening today? Ethan, we'll start with you.
So can you repeat the question one more time? So something that a mentor
What
has taught me that
what have you learned about yourself that you will then turn around and be a mentor to others?
Oh wow.
Through this process of starting your own business.
Honestly, just like drive and focus through your goal. If you have a goal, never give up on it. Just completely give it your all. Never back down. And I just want to get that message across. If you think you want something, if you think you can do it, like you can, if you give it your effort. There
was a book I read a long time ago, and I can't remember the exact name. It was either the 4 inches from gold or 3 inches from gold. I can't remember, but it's about this person who worked so hard, and they quit right before they got to the gold.
Yeah.
So in light of that, I agree with you. Never give up. Ask for help. Have mentors that can help you accelerate the process. We only have about 3,000 productive hours a year to work, right? There's about 240 business days a year. So if we have mentors that can help us accelerate and not make as many mistakes, then we're in good shape, and it helps us keep going so we never have to give up.
100%.
Yeah. Well said. Eli, how about you? What's one thing you learned about yourself through this starting your own business that you can then turn around and be a mentor to somebody else about?
Yeah, what I learned is pretty similar to Ethan. It's just like, if you want something, like you have to work for it, and it might take longer than you think, but it can still happen, and you just have to work.
Yeah, well said. And Blake, we'll end with you.
You got to be like water. Like, you got to adjust through, it's going to be problems along the way, and you can't let those problems define you. And you got to let your success, you can't even let your successes define you. You have to let yourself define yourself.
Have you watched the 30 for 30 water?
I have not yet, but I want to watch it. It looks good.
It's amazing. And what it talks about is that water takes the form of whatever it's in. And so that's a great way to end, because you guys have shown that you are like water in the sense of, you know, your summers were changed and you adapted and fit the mold of what is going on right now. And whether it lasts or whether it, you know, next summer or not, what you're doing now is so impressive. You know, the grit that it takes to start a business, the time it takes, the responsibility, the accountability, and everything that you learn about yourselves is great. I've known you kids forever. I'm very proud of you. You know, all the best to you guys. I appreciate all the insight and wisdom you shared. It's going to help a lot of people. And tell everybody how they can get a hold of you.
Of course.
You can go on our website, hwbackyardboys.wix.com. It should be that. But thanks for having us, John. We really appreciate it. You can also,
thank you.
Yeah, hwbackyardboys is it at gmail.com. Yes. hwbackyardboys@gmail.com. Yeah, thanks so much.
All right, boys. I appreciate you guys. And here's to a great session. Wait, tell everybody before we end, when are the next 2 sessions that they can sign up for?
So you can sign up for session B, which starts on July 3rd, it should be, through the 6th, and then session C, which starts on July 20th and goes to July 23rd.
23rd, yeah.
All right, good. All right,
awesome.
Backyard Boys, you guys are the greatest. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for having us.
Gotcha.
Have a good
Bye.
one.